Most men die with things unsaid, not because they ran out of time, because they kept telling themselves tomorrow was soon enough. I have a son named David. He is 53 years old. He calls me on Christmas and on his birthday, 2 calls a year, and I have been trying to explain why for 11 years. Today I am done explaining it to myself in private. My name is Harold Voss. I am 84 years old. My heart is running at 38%. I was an engineer for 40 years, a husband for 51, a father who knew how to provide for his family, and almost nothing else. This is a letter I have been trying to write since 2014. I am reading it out loud today because I have finally run out of tomorrows to hide behind, and because I think some of you need to hear it as much as David needs to receive it. Before I begin, I need to ask you something. Is there someone in your life you have been meaning to call, to write, to sit down with, and finally say the thing you have been carrying around privately for years? Not a dramatic confession, not a formal apology, just the truth, the real version of what happened between you and them that you have never said out loud because the right moment never seemed to arrive. Write that person's name in the comments right now, just their name. Nothing else. I will tell you why I am asking before this is over. David. I have been trying to write this letter for 11 years. I started it in 2014 sitting at the kitchen table at 2 in the morning with a glass of water and a yellow legal pad. I got 3 sentences in and stopped. I told myself I would finish it tomorrow. You know what I think about tomorrow by now. I started it again in 2017, got further that time, half a page. Then I folded it up and put it in the drawer of my desk where it sat until I threw it away 2 years later without reading it. I started it a 3rd time in 2021, the year your mother passed. I thought her dying might finally break something loose in me, give me the courage to say the things I had been rehearsing in my head for decades. I got further that time, almost 2 full pages. Then I read it back and it sounded wrong, too formal, too careful, like a legal document instead of a letter from a father to his son. I threw that one away too. I am 84 years old. My heart is running at 38%, and I have finally run out of tomorrows to hide behind. So I am writing it now, out loud, where I cannot fold it up and put it in a drawer. You do not have to respond. You do not have to do anything with this. I am not writing it to get something back. I am writing it because I have carried it for too long and because there are things you deserve to hear even if you stopped needing to hear them a long time ago. This is the story of the night everything fell apart, the night I finally saw clearly what I had been doing to our family for years. The night I became someone I did not recognize and could not explain. I was 58 years old, and I am sorry it took me this long to say any of this out loud. It was March of 1997. You were 16. Your sister Claire was 13. Your mother and I had been married for 23 years. On the outside, we were fine. That is the word I would have used if anyone had asked. Fine. The house was paid for. I was earning well. Your mother had gone back to work part-time at the school. You were doing well enough in school. Claire was Claire, bright and loud and filling every room she walked into. Fine. What was happening on the inside was something different. I had been under enormous pressure at the firm for almost 2 years. A project I had staked a significant part of my reputation on had gone badly, not catastrophically, but badly enough that I could feel the way certain people looked at me in meetings had shifted. The confidence I had carried for 20 years had developed a crack in it. Small, invisible to most people. But I could feel it every morning when I got dressed, and every night when I lay awake at 1 in the morning running through what I should have done differently. I did not tell your mother any of this. I did not tell anyone. And here is why. Because I was 58 years old, and I had spent my entire adult life being the man who handled things, the man who did not need to be carried, the man who identified problems and solved them and moved on without complaint. That is what nobody tells you about spending 30 years being the strong one. The strength becomes a cage. You build a reputation for not needing anything, and then you become trapped inside that reputation. You cannot ask for help because asking for help would mean admitting that the version of yourself everyone depends on is not the whole truth. And the whole truth is that you are terrified and exhausted. And some mornings you sit in your car in the parking garage for 10 minutes before going inside because you need those 10 minutes just to put the face back on. I sat in that parking garage a lot in 1996 and 97. So I did what I always did with things I could not solve. I buried it. I worked longer hours. I came home later. I was short with you in ways that were not fair. I snapped at your mother over things that did not matter and apologized without ever explaining what was actually wrong. I withdrew, slowly, the way a tide goes out. Not dramatically, just gradually less present, gradually further away. Your mother noticed. She always noticed. She asked me twice in those 2 years if something was wrong. Both times I said I was just tired. Both times she looked at me the way she had of looking at me when she knew I was not telling the whole truth but had decided not to push. She was patient with me in ways I did not deserve. Until the night of March the 14th, 1997. You had a debate competition that evening. You had been preparing for 3 weeks. You had practiced your argument at the dinner table twice, and both times I had given you detailed notes. The way I would have briefed a junior engineer before a major client presentation. You were good, David. You were genuinely good. You had your mother's ability to read a room and my stubbornness about being right. Together, those two things made you formidable. I had told you I would be there. I had written it down. March 14th, David debate, 7 o'clock. At 4:30 that afternoon, my director called me into his office. The client had requested a full emergency review of the project. Meeting at 6. Could not be moved. I sat in that office after he left and I stared at my calendar. March 14th, David debate, 7 o'clock. I picked up the phone and called your mother. She said she understood. She said she would tell you. I stayed at the office until 9:30, 3 hours of sitting across a table from 4 people, asking questions that were really accusations in the shape of questions. Every decision I had made on that project dissected and examined under fluorescent light while I sat there holding myself together with both hands. I drove home in the dark. I told myself I would make it up to you, that I would explain, that you would understand. When I got home, the house was quiet. Your mother was in the bedroom reading. I asked where you were. She said you had gone straight to your room when you got home. She said you had won the debate, first place, and that when she told you I was not coming, you had not said a single word. You had just nodded and gone upstairs. I stood in the hallway outside your room for a long time. I could see the light under the door. You were still awake. I raised my hand to knock. I stood there with my knuckles an inch from that door for what felt like 5 full minutes. And I did not knock. I told myself I would talk to you in the morning, that I would have the right words in the morning, that I would be less tired, that I would be able to say it properly. In the morning you were already gone before I came downstairs. We never talked about that night, not once. In 27 years, we have never spoken a single word about the night of March the 14th, 1997. But I think about it more than almost any other night of my life. I think about you standing at a podium at 16 years old, winning, in a room full of other kids and their parents, looking out into that room and knowing I was not there. I think about you nodding when your mother told you. That nod, David. I have thought about that nod more than almost anything else in my entire life. What it cost you to nod instead of crying or shouting or saying something honest about how you felt. How many times in the years that followed you learned to nod when you wanted to do something else entirely. How much of that quiet swallowing I taught you simply by standing in a hallway with my hand raised and choosing not to knock. I am sorry for what I taught you in that hallway. I am sorry it took me 11 years and a heart running at 38% to say it out loud. Here is what I want to say to you now. I was not absent because you did not matter. I need you to know that even if you stopped needing to hear it a long time ago, you mattered more than the meeting, more than the project, more than the reputation I was so desperate to protect. I just did not know how to show that in the way a father is supposed to show it. I knew how to provide. I knew how to correct. I knew how to show up with notes and feedback and a plan. I did not know how to show up with nothing, just myself. Sitting in a chair in the front row of a gymnasium at 7 o'clock on a weeknight because my son was doing something and I wanted to witness it. I did not know how to be a witness to your life without trying to improve it at the same time. That is the thing I regret most. Not the missed events, not the late nights, or the long trips, or the work that swallowed everything around it. I regret that I never learned how to just watch you. No agenda, no notes, no corrections lined up for the drive home, just a father watching his son be extraordinary and feeling nothing except grateful to be in the room. Now here is my second question for today, and I want you to take this one seriously. When was the last time you showed up for someone with absolutely nothing to offer except yourself? No advice, no solutions, no feedback, no phone in your hand, just your full and complete attention on another human being for one uninterrupted hour. Think about the last time that actually happened. Not the last time you were in the same room as someone you love, the last time you were actually there. Write the answer in the comments, or keep it to yourself, but sit with it, because the people in your life are not measuring your love by what you provide. They are measuring it by whether you show up, not whether you send money, not whether you solve the problem, not whether you have the right words, whether you show up, knock on the door, sit down, and stay. David, if you ever hear this, I won the arguments, I kept the roof over our heads, I built what I said I would build, and I missed your debate. I am sorry, not for the meeting. Meetings happen, life gets in the way. I understand that, and I think you do too. I am sorry for the hallway. I am sorry I raised my hand and did not knock. I am sorry for every single morning I told myself I would say it tomorrow. You turned out better than anything I ever built. You became a better father than I was, and you did it largely by deciding not to be me. I know that. I see it. And I am more proud of you for it than I have ever found the words to say. I love you. I should have said it more when you were young enough that hearing it from me still changed something. I am saying it now, while I still can. To everyone listening today, you still have time to knock on the door, not metaphorically, literally, tonight, whatever door you have been standing outside of, whatever hand you have been holding in the air for months or years, telling yourself the timing is not right and the words are not ready and tomorrow will be better. Tomorrow will not be better. Tomorrow you will find another reason, another project, another thing that cannot be moved. The door is right in front of you. Knock on it. And to the name you wrote in the comments at the beginning of this video, the person whose name came to you immediately when I asked who you owe a letter to, that is why I asked, because you already know who it is. You knew before I finished the sentence. And that person is somewhere right now not knowing that you think about them the way I think about that hallway. Tell them, not tomorrow, today. Leave me a comment. Tell me about your hallway. Tell me about your door. Tell me what has been stopping you. I read every single word. And if this letter reminded you of a herald in your life, a father who never knocked, a son who learned to nod instead of speak, send this to them right now. Just send it. No message needed. Let it say what you cannot.